Fuck TikTok. Hey guys, welcome to Design Uncut. No cuts, no edits, no bullshit. So today on the podcast we have Sidharth with us, who you might know from Instagram. He's King Sidharth. So appropriate. And today we're going to talk about something very, a lot of controversial bullshit. I know I say no bullshit, but this is going to be a lot of bullshit. So, before we get started with all that, Siddharth, tell the two people in the audience who don't know about you, what do you post on Instagram? Also, tell them how you started with your design career in general.
So on my Instagram and YouTube and on my podcast, which is called Anamorphic, I talk about design, startups, product management, and generally career in startups and tech. You can find me as King Sidharth anywhere on any of these platforms, including TikTok. And how I got here, I started with writing code, started getting into graphic design, UI design, and started getting into UX, joined InstaMojo as part of founding team. Was there for about 6 years building InstaMojo. Then I'm right now with Head Out, managing product and design, trying to scale it up to more cities and more customers.
Yeah.
So that's in brief what I do and how I reached here.
Oh, nice. So, Siddharth, today we're going to talk about a lot of controversial stuff.
Hell yeah.
What do you think, Siddharth, is the state of design education? And I say education in quotes because, again, it goes a little too much into business. And honestly, I don't want to point it out to any organization. But what's your opinion on that?
I think design, I've been very clear from day zero that design is one industry, one profession where you do not need a degree to enter, succeed or grow. All three things, right? One of the primary reasons is design is a problem solving field, right? And it's a very multi-dimensional problem solving. It's not like you stick to one side, and so you can't specialize in it immediately without working in it, right? And having said that, that also means most design courses and schools by definition therefore are not that great, to say the least. And I mean all, right? I've seen degrees. I've worked with people who studied IIT design in IITs and NIDs, who could not stop ranting about the failure of design education in terms of informing them and preparing them for the real world design, or in terms of failing to address anything which was a legit design outside books, right? And especially when you bring design to a field like technology. And today, when we talk about designers, more designers are working in technology field. As a UI, UX, product and industrial, some designer, they're working in technology field. There, because technology evolves so fast, by the time you write a course book, it's redundant. By the time it gets edited, gets published and becomes a course book, it's all redundant. Right? How Instagram was designed, Facebook was designed, now will come into course, but now we are at TikTok, boss. We have moved on from that paradigm. Right? So, because technology moves so fast, you can't capture it in like that, right? So it's a very experiential field, and therefore I truly believe that most design schools, and if you're a student out there thinking about joining a design college, design degree or design school for whatever, like 3-year course or a 8-week or 4-week course, here's something you need to know. It's not gonna change much in your life unless you know going in what you want out of it. Do you want a certification? Do you want network? And why do you want it and how it will change your life? You are not going to change much in your life. It's not going to change drastically. In fact, because you went to a design school and course, I'm going to have 10 additional questions during the interview. Because if you went to the course, might as well know extra things, right? Because you're not a self-taught designer. So it net, if you want it for confidence, that I have done a course, now I'm more confident because I've worked with other people who sort of work in design. Sure, go for it. You just want a piece of degree certification for whatever reason because your Indian parents are asking for it, go for it, right? But if you are looking to make a career out of this 4-week, 8-week, 3 years course, it's not gonna happen. If you're thinking that this one degree and one course is gonna serve me for a lifetime, it's not gonna happen. design is one field where what you worked on last project, what you worked on the last 1 year will always be more relevant than your degree, how much you scored, what was your GPA, whether you were like gold medalist or not, like in none of that matter, right? You want a rocket scientist who was a gold medalist, you want a doctor who was a gold medalist, you want a designer who actually solved the issue, right? So that is where it becomes critically important for people to realize that most people selling this snake oil remedy, that this 8 weeks, this 18 weeks, this 3 years even will teach you everything there is to know about design. I'm sorry, I've been working as a designer since past 11-12 years, and I don't think I know everything there is to learn about design. I'm just scratching the surface of what is possible, right? We are all learning together. For anyone to even claim that they can teach you design in any amount of time, they are lying. Okay, you gotta see through that lie. And unless you're very clear of the outcome you want out of this degree or course, going into it is not gonna change much for you. If you were confused going in, you're gonna be confused going out. If you did not have a job going in, it's very likely you're not gonna have a job coming out.
Yeah, no, for real. And the thing that comes to my head after you said, getting a job after that, is I've seen a lot of design schools have started to crop up. Schools in the sense they're like tuition centers but for designers. I mean that's how I take it as. Tuition centers who also gives valid certificates. And the thing about them is they promise you a job and they might even get you one. But so does Amity University, promise you jobs at Google. And then Amazon comes in and gives you a package of 15,000 a month, which is peanuts, to hopeful people who have just joined, and that hope is, I think that hope is all you need to influence people to actually join your course. Is we want to become a designer.
And FOMO, a little bit of FOMO. You go like, be a certified UX designer. And you're like, oh, so there is a certified UX designer, so I must be the certified one now. How can I miss out on certification? Right? So they play FOMO plus this thing together.
Yeah, and the sad part is, like you very correctly said, is I did hiring at PayU for mid-level designers and for junior designers and for a design lead as well. And the way I did hiring was, our whole process was we would turn it into a kind of a meetup where people come and they talk to each other, they work on products together, and they come up with something. And that way we thought, that would bring in that team spirit, and we would be able to see how they really are in like an organizational environment. So there what I realized after checking a good 100 plus people's portfolios was a good 20 of them had identical portfolios. Not in the sense that the portfolio structure looked the same. The very applications and websites and whatever they had designed for practice or whatever were exactly the same. The colors were different. The positioning of graphical elements and visuals was slightly different. But the whole structure, the layout, the thought process behind that went into that application was identical. So, and immediately I knew what organization had taught those students. Immediately.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I may not know the organization as well, especially because I'll tell you my experience. I'm interviewing this one person, and I'm like, hey, you know what I really like? Like, yours is one case study, which is slightly sensical. You picked up a unique problem. So that I'll give that person, that they picked up a unique problem apart from the class. But what they did, so you see user persona, and you see problem statement clearly emerge on the user persona. Then there's a whole bunch of crap in between for like 3-4 scrolls. And then there's a wireframe, which is exactly the problem they were discussing with the user persona, right? So I'm asking them, so to me it looks like you got the user persona, you got the problem, then you made the wireframe, then you made the app, you made the design, and it was done. Then later on, you wrote this case study. You added these 4 paragraphs. They're like, yeah, my tutor who is teaching in this design school told me that this is how your case study should look like. So if these sections are missing, if post-it notes are missing, if wireframe is missing, if this is missing, then it is not a legit case study. And I'm like, I can tell you it's not legit case study because it does not make rational sense. You did not need to do this 5 extra step because you already answered the answer in user research. This was one of the problems which got super hyper validated. But and the student, right, was readily, because they know that now they are away from school, now they have to live in this real world, so they are very quick to admit that yes, this case study, these parts were faked, and my tutor asked me to fake them so I can get hired. And I was like, what impression does it leave on everybody else that I'm gonna hire from your school? Right? Like, I know what you do. I know how you pull this craft off. I know how your case studies will look like.
This is kind of new to me. The point that you made about faking it is kind of new to me, because I get what you mean by faking it. I mean, but if they're perpetually being asked to make that so that people are able to see that process, so that they hire them, is kind of crazy to me. Because I mean, I've done a lot of bullshit in design, dude. I've done a lot of documentation which makes no sense. No sense. But I've done it for the sake of the client or the sake of the, the stakeholders. But the thing is, when you do, there's a difference between you doing something for the sake of something and you're doing something for filling in space.
And because people expect to, see it there.
You too. And like, I just want people to know, whoever is listening to this or watching this is in an organization, we don't do half the shit that we are prescribed to do by education, the design education, or even by the fathers of UX. You take NNG group, you take his name, Don Norman, in a sense, where he's like a big leader in design, and he prescribes a lot of stuff, but even he admits that, do what works best for your organization. Don't force stuff in, don't force a process,
Right. And to students listening in, I want to just add an example, right? If you think that you start a startup, right? Today you get an idea of an app, and you get together, right? And the first thing you want to sit down is do ethnographic studies. I'm sorry, you have missed the bus already.
Big words. First of all.
Like, that ain't happening. The maximum ethnographic study you're gonna do is like send out a Facebook post, and your 5 relatives will reply. And constraints do not care about your theory, do not care about your design thinking, do not care about your double diamond, triple diamond, quadruple, whatever diamond theory you have come up with. Whatever process chart you have built, reality will come and smash the hell out of it, right? And that is your work as a designer, right? Not every design decision can be A/B tested. You can't create an iPhone out of A/B testing. That is why we exist. That is when you start to value yourself, when you realize that your mind, being mindful of human beings, being aware of human concerns, and then taking decisions, is why you matter as a designer. Let's say you are a surgeon, opening up bodies, you are highly concerned with that, right? And then maybe a bit around social behavior of how people recover, but that's your limitation. But when you're a designer, let's say designing an interface dashboard for an autonomous car, you will have to learn about the governance laws of autonomous cars, or what happens to the legal consequences of should a wrong decision be taken or a wrong information was shown. If you're designing a fintech app, you got to understand accounting and what implications does it have on people and these numbers, right? Because if you miss one comma, right, this we used to talk about an Instamojo, like visual design, people go like, yeah, visual design, whatever, like, but if you miss one comma, the other person sitting on the other side will have a heart attack because they think they missed out their cash flow, right? You can't do that stuff. You can't do that stuff, right? So real life is what guides us designers, right? Real life and real life projects. That is why we keep you will listen to us design leader day in, day out, go like, make a portfolio, 3 case studies, make up, like literally we sound like bhaji walas, like, you know, like tori le lo, gajar le lo, like literally like 3 case study portfolio. Right, literally that, because that's all it matters. All I wanna see is you can reason like a designer.
Yeah.
You can think in my language, my vocabulary,
Yeah.
in the mediums you function in. You can pick up these cues, and you're hypersensitive to another person's behavior and constraints. These two are very important for a designer from a behavioral point of view. Your awareness and empathy and sensitivity toward human behavior. Yeah, sorry, I think that there was a call and I went back. So these two, are you able to hear me? Yeah, these two are very important qualities in a designer, of being able to sense and be sensitive to other person's needs. That is what we often end up calling empathy, and the other is hyper realistic awareness of constraints.
Yeah.
And a design school cannot teach you those by definition, because neither do they have the constraint of real life, nor do they have real life problems.
Anyways, thank you very much, Sidharth, for coming on, for trying to screw with people who you might know in personal life as well. So big thanks for that.
I was roped into it. Didn't have a choice.
And hopefully I'll see you on your podcast someday. Let's do some crazy stuff, and let's offend a few more people, because I have a long list. Anyways, thanks again, Sidharth, for being here. You should check out Sidharth's Instagram. It's at King Sidharth, which, if I'm not wrong. Yes, at King Sidharth on Instagram, on bloody
TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere.
Fuck TikTok. And I'll see you in the next episode. I post every week. I'll see you later. Bye.
See you later, folks.